Hi, it's Angela here, and I'm back again with the next video in my series all about menopause. And in this video, I'm going to be covering off how we can treat naturally some of the common symptoms that occur as you come through the perimenopause and menopause stage of life. I've had to break this down into a couple of videos because there was so much information, so I wanted to keep the videos short. So this is part 1, and I'll be back with part 2 in the next video. So let's cover off what are the most common symptoms that many women experience when they come into this stage of life, and that is hot flushes and night sweats. So if you've ever had a hot flush, you will know exactly what it feels like. You get this sensation of heat that comes from the inside, and it just starts to continue to heat you up from the inside until you're hot all over. And for some women, they can have visible sweating. Some women, it's that bad that their clothes actually get soaking wet. And at night, you can wake up covered in sweat and feel really, really hot, even when it's actually cold outside. So this is known as a night sweat. And night sweats can actually disrupt the sleep of some women to a stage it can actually impact their daily life. Now, one of the things I do want to say is that flushing and night sweats quite often are worse when you're highly stressed. So if you start to notice when you do flush, have a look at the type of day that you've been having or the day before, and you will probably find that you've been highly stressed, highly emotional, and the flushes get worse. And then this doesn't help at night if you're getting night sweats, which means you're not getting enough sleep. So you're already stressed before you wake up because you're very, very tired, and then it's an ongoing circle. So start to address your stress, and then you will find that the flushing will reduce. But there's a few things you can do anyway to make life a little bit more comfortable. So when it comes to the clothes you wear, if you wear light, loose clothing, then it'll be a little bit more comfortable if you do flush, rather than having really tight clothing which shows sweat marks and things like that. You can actually purchase chill wear or chill towels, which you can put on around your neck, which are made from a material which are actually quite cold, so it calms you down. At night time, don't rug up too much. Now, this is a hard one for me because I love to snuggle in my PJs, winter and summer. But if you can wear loose cotton nightwear, particularly if you sweat a lot, don't overheat, don't have lots of covers on. That's really hard for me because I love snuggling under the doona, but I'm lucky I don't get too many night sweats. Not these days anyway, now that I've got my stress levels a little bit better under control. Now, when it comes to herbs, and I will be sharing herbs as treatments for many different symptoms, just know that it's always best to actually see a naturopath or a herbalist to get a specialized herb mix. But I will let you know some of the herbs that are great for managing these symptoms, and some of the over-the-counter products will include these herbs. So at least if you've heard of them, you'll know that they're actually okay. So common herbs in the management of hot flushes and night sweats: sage. Sage is number one. And if you've got sage growing in your garden, you can make a fantastic sage tea. Ziziphus is another one that we use, and that's particularly if you're getting night sweats at night. So sage and Ziziphus together work really, really well. Motherwort, that's what we call the mother's hug. So it's nice and nurturing herb. Black cohosh and red clover, very, very common herbs used in many over-the-counter remedies. Now, a really simple herb recipe that you can do at home is, if you are growing sage, is to chop up half a dozen sage leaves, soak them overnight in lemon juice, and in the morning strain that off and then drink the juice. Now, you can repeat that every day for a week to 10 days, and generally you'll find that your flushing and your sweating will decrease. Now, if it doesn't decrease, then I highly recommend that you see a naturopath and a herbalist. Don't continue doing that for more than 2 weeks without actually speaking to someone who's qualified in herbs, because there may be something else going on. Now, when it comes to the food you eat, Avoid excessively hot foods, so your chili foods and really spicy foods, because all that's going to do is heat you up even more. Also, avoid hot drinks and hot food, so really hot stuff. So if you're really impacted by the sweating and everything, avoid the hot stuff because it'll just make you sweat more. Avoid coffee. Sorry. Now, not only is coffee a hot drink, and even if you had iced coffee, it stimulates the adrenals. And one of the things that is an underlying cause of hot flushing and night sweat is the adrenal burnout and the exhaustion. And so we don't want to stimulate the adrenals anymore. And coffee does do that. Caffeine does that. Limit your alcohol intake. It will make our flushing and sweats worse, particularly at night. Because of the load that it puts on the liver and the stress that it causes the body. Now, there are some foods which you can include in your diet which will actually help to regulate some of the stuff that's going on for you, and these are foods that we call, they're phytoestrogen foods. So they're foods that have got plant-based estrogen-like chemicals in them. That's not actually an estrogen, it's just like it mimics estrogen in the body. So it supports the body. So tofu, organic tofu, so ideally organic, because a lot of soy products are actually genetically modified, so we want to get organic, we don't want to get the genetically modified soy products. Tempeh, which is a fermented tofu. Flaxseed, which is made from the linseed seeds, and so you can get flaxseed oils, flaxseed as a powder, or you can use linseeds. Garlic, chickpeas, pumpkin kernels, green beans and mung beans. So all of them are really great in phytoestrogen. So lots of plant-based foods there. So there's some of the things you can do for your night sweats and your hot flushes. Now, poor sleep, insomnia. Very, very common issue with women who are in this stage of life. And it's obviously, if you've got night sweats as well as insomnia, that actually makes it even worse. And then that leads to poor sleep, which leads to high stress, which leads to more hot flushes, more night sweats, poor sleep, and it just keeps going on and on. And while there is a hormonal impact that can change your sleep patterns, quite often the issues can also come from years of poor sleep habits. And so the first step to addressing this is actually really looking at some of your lifestyle habits, so that you can actually change the way you go to sleep and your sleep environment. So ideally, generally the body prefers to be asleep before around about 10 p.m. at night at the latest. Staying up too much later than that can put stress on the body. Getting to bed at 10 p.m. will generally have you on a natural waking cycle of around about 6 a.m. So if you can, try to be in bed before 10 o'clock. Turn off all your electronic devices from about 7 p.m. Because of the blue light that's coming off these devices, which disturbs your brain waves and stops you from sleeping properly. If you are using devices at night, put on your orange filters on your phones, your laptops and things like that. But if you can get off them, that will be great. Don't have them in your bedroom because of the EMRs, the electromagnetic radiation that comes from them, which can disturb your sleep patterns. So, get your devices right away from the bedroom. If you have to have them in the bedroom, put it on plane mode so it's not actually trying to pick up a signal all night. Keep the room as dark as possible. Try and keep the temperature around about 23 degrees, so keeping it fairly steady. If you've got a mind that races and you can't get to sleep, journaling is a great way just to dump all that stuff out of your mind. Meditation can also help. And reducing stress overall during the daytime is going to help you with your sleep at night. Now, there are some herbs which are quite useful when it comes to encouraging a healthy sleep, and you can get these in tea form. So some of the herbs include chamomile, passion flower, lavender, hops, but not as beer, as a tea, kava, valerian, which tastes terrible, and be very careful. Valerian, for some people, it can be overstimulating, so it can actually have the opposite effect. It wakes you up and doesn't send you to sleep. So I don't use a lot of valerian when I make herbs up for clients, but some people it works really well, but oh, it tastes terrible. Ashwagandha, which is what we call withania. Ashwagandha is its common name, St. John's wort, ziziphus, Californian poppy. So they're all really great herbs. And if you go to the supermarket or the health food store and get a sleepy time tea, you will generally find a mix of some of those herbs in them. So drinking that before you go to bed, it's a nice calm down ritual to have a tea. And if you've got ongoing sleep issues, you might need to get a naturopath to make you up a herb mix or prescribe you some herbal tablets that actually are a little bit stronger and that will help you sleep. With diet, diet does play a role in your sleep, and one of the reasons why people can wake up at night is because their blood sugar levels get a little bit too low. And when that happens, the body automatically wakes you up as a protective mechanism, because if your blood sugar levels go too low, you'll go into a coma. So the body wakes you up. It doesn't want you to do that. So make sure you're getting enough protein and fat in your evening meal, and that helps to keep the blood sugar levels regular. You can have a really small protein snack, so just half a dozen nuts or so just before you go to bed, which has got protein and fats in it, which will just also keep your blood sugar levels up. You can do that particularly if you have an issue with fluctuating blood sugar. Avoid your high sugar foods before bed, so don't have sweets or dessert after dinner. Don't have high sugar foods before you go to bed, because all that's going to do is basically push your levels up and then drop them back down again. Avoid caffeine late in the day, and some people are super sensitive to caffeine and really can't have it after lunchtime. Avoid alcohol, and that's especially if you find you're regularly waking between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. because that's actually liver time. But alcohol, even though it might make you drowsy and send you to sleep, it actually doesn't keep you asleep. It will wake you up. So avoid alcohol if you've got any issues sleeping. Now, there are some great nutrients that can help too, so nutritional supplements. Magnesium being one of the best, and having magnesium at dinner time or shortly after dinner can help you get to sleep. And if you don't want to take supplements, just having a nice long bath with Epsom salts. With Epsom salts is magnesium salts. You can pop that in your bath, a cup or two of Epsom salts, and maybe a couple of drops of lavender oil as well, and have a bath just before you go to bed. Raising your body temperature in the bath and then allowing it to drop when you get into bed actually increases the melatonin, which is the sleep hormone. So that's really nice. If you've got a bath and you need to relax, grab some Epsom salts, some lavender oil, have a bath, and then jump straight into bed. Calcium also. Calcium works with magnesium, and it also helps you relax and sleep. So that's how to deal with two of the most common symptoms, being flushing and sweats plus insomnia. And I'll be back in the next video with some more symptoms and ways that you can treat them naturally. So that's it from me. Bye for now.